Some good news coming in from Hyderabad possibly will pave the way for many aspiring youngsters.
One interview, one offer, and that too of whopping 2.5 crore. 2008 से कॉलेज खुला है पर अभी तक इतने पैकेज में किसी का जॉब नहीं लगा था. No backup plan, no safety nets, no spray and the pray approach, just absolute confidence in his preparation and abilities. Yes, that gentleman is Edward Nathan Varghese.
Edward Nathan Varghese get a record package of 2.5 crore job offer from Optiver.
2.5 करोड़ पर ईयर, वो भी सिर्फ 21 साल की उम्र में. ये टाइपो नहीं है मेरे दोस्त. A student from IIT Hyderabad just walk away with the highest package in the institute's entire history. 2008 से कॉलेज खुला है पर अभी तक इतने पैकेज में किसी का जॉब नहीं लगा था. Yes, that gentleman is Edward Nathan Varghese. Let's understand his story. It's going to change everything you think you know about getting placed in tech. Let me give you some context. इससे पहले IIT हैदराबाद की हिस्ट्री में जो सबसे बड़ा पैकेज लगा था, that was around 1 crore, and that was way back in 2017. Edward have just demolished that record by 150%. What that means? जहाँ पे कॉलेज का एवरेज पैकेज has improved from 20.8 lakhs to 36.2 lakh, which is impressive in itself, but Edward is standing in a completely different universe. But here's what you should really make you sit up and pay attention. Edward ने सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक कंपनी में इंटरव्यू करा था, and that's it. One interview, one offer, and that too of whopping 2.5 crore. No backup plan, no safety nets, no spray and the pray approach, just absolute confidence in his preparation and abilities. Now आप ये सोच रहे होंगे कि this is just another feel-good placement story. Another genius who got lucky. Hello everyone, I am Vishwa Sir and I know that आप में से काफी लोग मुझे पहली दफा इस upGrad के YouTube चैनल पे देख रहे हैं. Said that I have been there in the industry for more than 15 years now. I'm a passer from IIT BHU and all these years I have worked for all the big tech giants like Oracle, PayPal, Walmart, Amazon. I was leading the engineering at LinkedIn. I was the CIO at PhysicsWala and right now I am the CEO of upGrad School of Tech. If I don't talk about my current role, the last organization that I was part of, I was the highest paid employee where I was making more than 5 crores in a year. And all this year I have also taught 1 million of students and that's how I can talk with the full credibility. ये जो पूरा पैकेज है, कैसे इन्होंने क्रैक करा, the whole science and the maths and the formula behind that, how do you make it big in the today's world. चलिए, let's go on and deep dive the story. Let me paint you a picture of what most engineering students do और आप बताना if you agree to it. First year, जैसे आप आते हो, people feel that hey, I have got 4 years, I'll start preparing later. Party, enjoy campus life, attend some classes, maybe join a club. और करते करते एक साल पता नहीं कैसे गायब हो जाता है. Then comes the second year. People get a little serious. Okay, now you're talking about internship and then people start talking, चलो कुछ YouTube पे tutorials देख लेते हैं दीदी भैया के, web development कर लेते हैं, DCA कर लेते हैं, and maybe build a basic calculator app, that should be enough. करते करते second year भी चला गया. Now it's third year. Panic mode. Suddenly everyone's doing lead code. You create an account, create and solve 10-15 easy problems, get frustrated and think कि भैया आप कल करेंगे. And this cycle gets repeated for months. और करते करते आपका तीसरा साल भी खत्म हो चुका है. Now you are in final 4th year. Mass applications, applying to 200 companies, pray something sticks, attend interviews unprepared, और फिर खूब सारे rejections. And for that you start blaming the system, the economy, your luck, your college, everything except the real problem. And here's the brutal truth nobody wants to tell. The system isn't broken, boss. Your approach is broken. Because while you were following this traditional path, पूरी की पूरी tech industry has underwent a massive transformation. The rule of the games have changed, boss. And most students are still playing by the old playbook. Entry-level tech positions, they are becoming scarce. Companies are being extremely selective, boss, these days. आज के दिन में the bar is higher than ever before. And here's the kicker. Having a degree even from a top institution is no longer enough. जब मैं IIT qualify कर रहा था, I was very comfortable कि boss कहीं ना कहीं तो job लग जाएगी. But today, even if you talk about IIT Mumbai or any big college, just degree is not enough. Skill-based hiring has become the new normal. Companies are looking at what you can do, not what you know. They want to see proof of capability, not promises of potential. And this brings us back to the Edward. While everyone else was following the crowd, he understood something fundamental, the first principle, something that made all the difference. चलिए अब एक काम करते हैं. Let's try to understand the background story कि Edward Nathan Varghese, how did he made it? So this guy, Edward Nathan Varghese, born in Hyderabad and educated in Bangalore, the tech capital of the country. उनके दोनों माता पिता, they both are engineers. So yes, there was some technical foundation at home, but that's where any advantages end. 2022 में when he cracked JEE Advanced with an all India rank of 558, great rank, right? Absolutely yes. But IIT Hyderabad admits thousands of students with similar or better ranks every single year. What separated Edward wasn't his JEE rank. It was what he did after getting into the IIT. From the first day of his first year, Edward ने ये ensure करा ये decision that while most of the students postponed it indefinitely, he committed to spend time in the competitive programming. बिल्कुल casually नहीं, not as a hobby, but the kind of relentless dedication that separates the exceptional from the average. जहाँ पे उनका पूरा batchmate were figuring out the college life, attending fests, exploring new freedoms, Edward was grinding, solving problems on code forces, participating in contests, failing, learning and improving and repeating it multiple times. Hundreds of problems, then thousands, and not because someone forced him. किसी ने उसको force नहीं किया था उस वक्त. Not because it was his coursework, but because he understood something very crucial. Real problem solving ability isn't built in months or days. It is built over years. Time लगता है दोस्त उसमें. By the time he was in final years, Edward has earned a spot among India's top 100 competitive programming. और ये एक दिन में नहीं हुआ था. सालों की मेहनत लगी थी and he started pretty early when he joined the college. Think about what that means. It's a country of millions of CS students. He was in the top 100 competitive programmers. But what happened after being in the top 100? Summer internship का season चालू होता है. A company called Optiver, a global trading firm based in the Netherlands, comes to IIT Hyderabad. They are not looking for the dozen of interns. They wanted exactly few, and that number was 2. 2 positions, thousands of applicants. The selection process is brutal. They are not just testing coding skills, they are evaluating problem solving under pressure, system design thinking, communication clarity, and cultural fit. Edward gets selected along with one other student in the campus. Internship ka structure, 2 weeks of intensive training, no hand-holding, then 6 weeks of real project work with actual business impact. This isn't a practice session, this is the real deal. Those students जो जाते हैं Netherlands for their internship, only one comes back with the pre-placement offer. Edward. In his own words, this was the first and the only company I interviewed for. I was ecstatic when my mentor indicated the offer. Read that again. First and only company. That's the confidence that comes from the years of genuine preparation. That's what happens when you build real capabilities instead of collecting certificates. चलिए माना, Edward was very sincere. Day 1 से उसने coding practices करी, खूब सारा competitive coding करा, and finally he's bragged the offer of 2.5 crore. But that's not enough, which has impressed me. There's even more. Edward wasn't just a coding machine locked in his room. He became the overall head of the Office of Career Services at Hyderabad, managing 8 student managers and around 250 coordinators. ये कोई resume filler नहीं है दोस्त. That's a leadership at scale. That's managing people, handling pressure, making decisions with real consequences. And just to prove his overall capabilities beyond coding, he took CAT in 2025. And can you imagine what percentile he got? 99.96 percentile with an all India rank of 120. This is what 2.5 crore looks like. Not just a coder, not just a problem solver, a complete professional who can think, lead, communicate and deliver under any circumstances. चलिए अब एक काम करते हैं, एक पैरेलल ड्रॉ करने की कोशिश करते हैं कि what used to happen in the past and how that has changed over the years. And मैं क्यों कह रहा हूँ कि game has changed itself. And इसके लिए let me tell you the story from my own journey. Let me take you back to my placement days at IIT BHU. The interviews followed a pretty standard pattern. Example के लिए कंपनी पूछ सकती थी कि how would you design a hash table? अगर आप कंप्यूटर साइंस या टेक की दुनिया में आते हैं तो एक बार एक स्टैंडर्ड प्रॉब्लम हुआ करता था. They could ask what's the difference between a process and a thread. काफी भारी भरकम सवाल हुआ करता था ये. Write a function to reverse a linked list on a whiteboard. Classic computer science fundamentals. If you knew your data structure at that time, understood algorithms, could write clean code under pressure, and communicated clearly, you had a solid shot. The emphasis was on knowing, do you know the theory? Can you apply it in a controlled environment? Competitive programming थी दोस्त, मैं भी काफी competitive programming करता था, but it wasn't mainstream. It was more of a niche activity. Most successful placements came from the strong fundamentals, good projects, maybe an internship, and solid communication skills. That was the playbook, and it worked. But for that era. But fast forward to today, everything has changed. Companies like Optiver, Chainstream, HFT firms, top product-based companies, they are not asking textbook questions anymore. They are evaluating how you think, कैसे आप सोचते हो, कैसे आप break down करते हो complexity को, how do you handle problems you have never seen before. The interview isn't about write code for this problem. It's here's a real world system challenge. Can you design a solution? Can you defend your approach? Can you handle changing requirements? Optimize for the actual constraints. Competitive programming went from the niche to nearly essential for today's top tier roles. Why? Because it trains exactly what companies need. They help you to solve the problems quickly, handle pressure. Algorithm कैसे काम करता है? You think that. You optimize solutions. So finally, here's the critical difference. मेरे time पे you could prepare for interviews in your final year and be fine. And that's how we did. पर आज की डेट में preparation in final year is already too late. The students getting 2.5 crore offers started building their problem solving muscles from day one. इसलिए नहीं because someone told them to, but because they understood the new game. तो उस प्रॉब्लम ये है कि टेक्नोलॉजी हैज इवॉल्व्ड फास्टर देन एजुकेशन कुड अडैप्ट. बाय द टाइम curricula get updated, tech has already moved forward. अभी जो कंपनीज they can't wait for the colleges to catch up. So they have changed their hiring strategy. They started looking for people who can learn rapidly, adapt quickly, and solve problems they have never seen before. They have never encountered before. And that's the market reality. अगर आप खुद को इस तरीके से अडैप्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं, you are competing with one hand tied behind your back. Let me cut through all the noise and tell you the single most important thing you need to understand about succeeding in tech today. Bhaiya, the real skill is the problem solving. Not knowing 15 programming languages, not having certificates from 20 online courses, not memorizing frameworks or libraries. Those are tools, important tools, yes, but they are not the skill. Asli skill hai when you are faced with a problem you have never seen before, can you still break it down? Can you identify the core logic? क्या आप एक solution उसका design कर सकते हो? क्या आप उसको optimize कर सकते हो? Can you explain your thinking clearly? And this is what Edward did, and he succeeded. Not because he memorized algorithms, but because he trained his brain to think algorithmically, to see patterns, to recognize when a problem can be broken into smaller pieces, to understand trade-offs between different approaches. And that kind of thinking doesn't come from watching tutorials or reading solutions. It comes from actual doing, from struggling, from failing, from trying again, from building that muscle over hundreds and thousands of problems. और चलिए अब उस बात की बात कर लेते हैं जो मुझसे सबसे ज्यादा पिछले 2 सालों में पूछा गया है. Now I need to address something really controversial. वो क्या है? The role of AI in learning. AI tools are incredible. ChatGPT, Cloud A, Copilot. They can explain concepts, debug code, suggest approaches. I also use them daily. They are powerful productivity multipliers. But, and this is crucial, if you're using AI as a crutch during your learning phase, you are actually sabotaging yourself. आप में से कई लोग कह रहे होंगे कि भैया अगर AI कर रहा है तो मैं क्यों करूं? But if you're using it in your preparation phase, then you're stuck on a problem. Your first instinct might be to ask AI for the solutions. Don't do that. That struggle, that frustration, that's where the learning happens. And that's where your brain is building the neural pathways you need. You need it in the most hardest of the situation when the new problem is thrown to you. If you let AI solve your practice problems, दोस्त, you are training AI का skills, AI models को आप train कर रहे हो, आपका दिमाग train नहीं हो रहा है. You are building AI's problem solving muscles, not your own. Edward didn't get to where he is by copying solutions. He got there by wrestling with the problems until he understood them deeply. Until logic became bilkul clear, it was second nature to him. Until he could recreate solutions from the first principles. So the question is कि भैया AI use करे या ना करे? When should you use AI? For productivity and not for learning. Once you have solved a problem yourself, AI को use करके आप ये पता कर सकते हैं कि इससे better approach कुछ हो सकता था क्या? Use it to understand something like time complexity, optimization. Use it to learn about the edge cases you might have missed. In your projects, use AI to speed up the boilerplate code. Use it to debug faster. Use it to explore architectural patterns. Use it to write better documentation. But जब आप सीख रहे हैं, जब आप practice कर रहे हैं, during the skill building phases, you need to struggle, दोस्त. You need to think, you need to fail and figure it out. Because when you are sitting in that Optiver interview, AI नहीं होगा वहाँ पे. When you are facing a real system that's crashing in production, AI won't be able to debug that. When you need to design a solution under pressure, आपको सारा कुछ अपने brain से ही सोचना पड़ेगा दोस्त. And not AI will come for your rescue. So here's where we are. The market has changed. The rules have changed. The timeline has changed. If you are in your first year, you have time, but you need to start now, those. Not next semester, not next year. Now is the right time. और अगर आप second year में हो या third year में हो, you're not too late, but you need to accelerate. Fast करना पड़ेगा. The students competing for those 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2.5 crore offers, they have been preparing for years. If you are in final year, you can still improve your outcome, but you need to be strategic and intense about it. There are no shortcuts. There is no magical potion which you can drink and get things done overnight. यार ये जो एडवर्ड की स्टोरी मैंने आपको बताई is just not about this 2.5 crore package. It's about what happens when preparation meets opportunity. It's about understanding the game and playing it right. At upGrad, we have mentored over a million students. We have seen thousands of success stories. And मैं आपको बता सकता हूँ with complete certainty, the opportunities are there, the high packages are there, the incredible careers are there. But they go to those who are prepared. जो इस नए रूल को समझते हैं, those who put in the work when no one is watching. You don't need to be from IIT. You don't need extraordinary advantages. You need clarity on what matters. Discipline to build the right skills, and consistency to keep going even when it's hard. In the tech industry here, this will continue to reward those who can solve real problems. The question is, will you be one of them? That's your choice. Make it count. I am Vishwa Mohan, CEO of upGrad School of Technology. If this perspective helped you see things differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. और अगर आपको लगता है कि इससे आपने कुछ सीखा है about building the right skills, stay tuned, like, share and subscribe. Until next time, keep building, keep solving and keep growing.